So, hello people. Adam Neely spoke about Plato. So, of course, I will have to give my 2 cents. So, this is the book. The book? Where is the book? No, there is no book. It's just a video. It is the ethics of fake guitar. So, he discussed the whole thing happening with fake guitar players, and then he, or better say she, I suppose it is a woman, she said something about Plato. So the whole thing is this question of Instagram going mad with so-called fake guitarists. It's hard to say who is fake, who isn't. There are many good people. So, for example, like this guy, people doing videos like this. Start the video, my friend. Start, exactly. Okay, so I can say I couldn't find something that I find fake, but I watched this impossible videos as well. Here I think it's very good. It's amazing how people are getting good in the genre of progressive rock. I find really interesting how they are getting good at this. So this is the discussion, okay? Let's come back to the Adam Neely. So watch his video. He sets a good context here, speaking about fake performance. I think he abused of the term fake, like fake versus overdub. Always when you start a philosophical discussion, you have to discuss the concepts, okay? And you have to make sure that your concepts and the words that you use, they have more or less always the same meaning. Because if you change meaning in the middle of the reasoning, you come to the wrong conclusion. And the word fake here is used in two meanings. So this will bring him a problem. So here, fake is like overdub. Okay. Overdub. There is the case of the keys that he quoted. It's very interesting. So they recorded, where's the keys? Here. So it was fake. The live recording that they did, not the live, but the video of the live recording. You get the point? So fake, the problem with the word fake, it is already a judgment. It is already an ethic judgment.
But of course, classic live recordings would fit our definition.
You never say, you would never say that your mother has fake hair, and this looks like derogatory. So it's like pejorative. It's not so positive, no? So your mother has a fake hair, and your father has fake muscles, okay? So there is a judgment of value there. And then this is not so interesting. And here when you speak about keys faking,
fake performances too.
The performance
of Led Zeppelin's classic concert documentary, The Song
celebrity
Remains the Same,
crash
were
because
portions were reshot on a
if you do a new recording, if you record your live audio, of course you want to present yourself in the best way, so you will do a new retouch here. So let's find the keys moment here. So let's see.
Yeah, dude, I think it only made it better. Most people assume it was all live. It wasn't.
Metallica's famous S&M. But of course, classic live recordings would fit our definition of fake performances too. Significant portions of Led Zeppelin's classic concert documentary, The Song Remains the Same, were overdubbed. Portions were reshot on a soundstage built was mostly overdubbed after the fact because the quality of the performances
overdubbed after the fact
hold up to scrutiny.
Yeah, we touched up what we had to do, and I think it only made it better. Most people assume it was all live. It wasn't.
Metallic.
So Gene Simmons, what a figure. So okay, so introduction to the video. Then he explains how to fake. So why it is wrong, but then later say that why it is okay. So here's the point that I want to discuss.
Self-image.
Think of the future generations. Try not to mislead them. Why not help them to do the things that you do?
You know, you say you want to be an influence to all of these younger generations of musicians, but you're just lying to everybody.
Some kid is going to look up to him and wish that they could play that well, and they're never going to be able to reach it.
Now, this one's an interesting one, right? Because how do you even quantify that? Are there examples of young people being harmed by fake performances? Like, what is the data here? It's kind
of... So this looks like there was a girl on Instagram. I said something like a very specific judgment about something. I think the daughter of a celebrity there in Hollywood, something that I commented. And then she asked, okay, which are the source? Do you have the source for your statement? So there are some people, they think that everything is about data and source. So if his argument is about the feature, so the educational aspect, so of course you don't have data for the feature. So how can you how can you show that guitarists faking a level of technique that they don't have will have a bad impact on children, but with data? How do you prove this with data if you are exactly speaking about something that will happen, not something that happened? And here you get into the philosophical territory, because you don't have you can't do so much with the scientific method anymore. Now it is absolutely it's absolutely valid, this fault, that if you start to really play things that are impossible, I mean that you make they appear as possible, but actually they are not impossible. For example, you speed up the video. Actually, it's not the case, but let's come back. So here in this case, this is absolutely possible. Okay, and then if he is overdubbing this, I don't care from the musical point of view, but from the technical point of view, I care, because if he's overdubbing and he can't do this, then it's a problem. And if he can do this and the recording was bad and now he's overdubbing, so it's not a problem. I think the question is not so hard to understand as many people want to do. They want to make you believe it's a huge, impossible philosophical question. But there was a guy who played some things that are very impossible, and then you come here as a young guitarist, and of course, if you don't know that this is fake, this has a negative impact. Okay, this has a negative impact. So you don't need data to understand this. You don't need data to show how valid is this concerning
Do the
here.
things that you do.
You know, you say you want to be an influence to all of these younger generations of musicians, but you're just lying to everybody.
Some kid is going to look up to him and
Exactly. So now let's go to the point of why it's wrong. So then he spoke about the live thing. Let's go from there.
they could play that well, and they're never going to be able to reach it.
Now, this one's an interesting one, right? Because how do you even quantify that? Are there examples of
The idea of quantification of things in human science and art, it's very characteristic of the positivism, philosophical positivism. So of Auguste Comte, okay, of the 19th century. So they started to apply the scientific method to philosophy. So then imagine that everything will follow. It's the secret to disaster, no? They are inverting the things. So here starts this idea of applying the scientific method to philosophy, and the earlier guy of this tradition, more or less, is the Descartes. So he set the structure for this type of thought, because he actually, for Descartes, only what is related to number has the right to exist in a very objective sense. So but with Descartes a little bit more complicated, you can say that he's employed the scientific method. So actually he's just changing the philosophic method, but actually the scientific method starts to influence philosophy here a lot. But I mean the method of the natural science in natural science. So this is different than the meaning of science with Aristotle, where science, philosophical science and natural science, they come all from very similar methodic assumptions that he develops in his logical writings. It's one of the best things that you can read. So how it's called in English, topics, whatever. So come back.
people being harmed by fake performances? Like, what is the data here? It's kind of a hard question to answer. So I did what I always do in these situations, and I consulted my local neighborhood philosopher, specifically Dr. Mariana Noé, a Platonic scholar.
Local neighborhood philosopher, okay.
And Harvard postdoctoral fellow in ancient philosophy.
If a child happens to come across this video of someone that seems to be playing very fast, is that real damage to them or not? There's ways in which it could be damaging. Why? Because this is setting an unrealistic standard. So then they're like, oh my God, he can do such amazing things and I can't. And that can kind of like feed into like a negative self-talk. Or it can even be positive. Like, this guy plays very fast. I'm going to try to be my best version so I can do what he's doing, even if what he's doing is fake.
Is that the noble lie?
Yes. Well,
So here starts a problem. Let's see.
Static philosophy. So what is the noble lie?
So this is a theory that Plato develops in Republic, in the book Republic, in the dialogue Republic, in book 3. According to this theory, there's some lies that can be used for the sake of basically the well-doing of a society. So for example, one could lie to the citizens and tell them that they're all brothers and sisters. And as a result, one would get the feeling of harmony across a society, which is beneficial in so many ways. So the point is that no lie is just, it has good effects. So because of its effects, its consequences, it is okay to lie.
Well, what I heard you say is that Plato says that faking guitar on the internet is okay as long as people get better at guitar.
Well, perhaps.
Does it make you
So this is, I think, so this is why I'm doing the video. So because the guy has 2 million subscribers, and one of the things that if there is one thing that it is missing a lot today, is exactly the understanding of music in a more Platonic sense. I don't mean it in a full Platonic, full hardcore Platonic sense, because I think this would be also dumb and a test of ignorance, but closer to a more Platonic sense. And what Plato exposed was one of the most important ideas about music that you may have. So this is the ethos of music. So the moral aspects of music, the moral capabilities of music. Okay, so the role of music building the ideal society. Okay, so the Republic is a book on the if mode. So what if we want to build the ideal society? Which type of music do we need, and how would this music be? Okay, this is one of the considerations among many others. And the key topic for Plato, not only in this book, but in his whole philosophy, is the dichotomy between the original and the copy. So for Plato, one of the worst things that you can do is to be fake. One of the worst things is one of the there is no way. For example, the painter for Plato is a citizen of a second degree in relation to the philosopher, because the philosopher can capture the things as they are in their essence. The philosopher captures the idea of a tree, and the painter, he paints a tree. He creates a copy of the tree, and therefore the copy is less perfect. The argument is not so good of Plato, but it is what it is. Okay, so the original thing is the most important thing. So then you need the whole history of philosophy, perhaps. Then you come to the phenomenology again, for someone can show to you that actually the painter is painting the essence of the idea of tree. Okay. So in a similar way, it happens with the musician. So by no means, if you want to speak in a Platonic sense, by no means he would relate the act of faking guitar or overdubbing guitar to the concept of noble lie. So the concept of noble lie is a concept in his philosophical politics. So it's like a necessary evil to bound society together. So it's not easy to show that this concept gives fundament to justify faking guitar performance. Okay, but you could find other philosophers and other types of another aesthetic discourse, so to say, to explain all this. And And one possible way to do this is to observe the very nature of art that lays in the appearance of things. So I would not, I would not tell you here if art is like in the same status of your normal, of your actions in the world, like they all fall under the laws of morality and ethics. And Kant showed this very good. So he tried to show that art has an independent set of rules that go beyond moral and beyond what is true. Okay, so if for Plato you have truth, the good and the beautiful aligned together and harmonically implying each other. With Kant, it says that the contrary. Okay, so Kant gives way more freedom and autonomy for the art. So this is the so-called aesthetic autonomy. Now, if you consider the aesthetic autonomy, then yes, you can speak about a fake performance as more one way of being artistic. Okay, more one way of being artistic. And if people enjoy it and it fulfills this basic criteria for art, then it's okay. Now, things are not so easy like this just for one reason, because the same event can be observed in different aspects and in different philosophical category. Okay. When you see this guy playing here, the guitar here, you can observe this from the philosophical, from the sociological point of view, from the cultural point of view, or from the pure musical point of view, or from a more moral point of view. And what is the moral point of view? What is the moral point of view? The moral point of view is that he grew up, he studied guitar, and now he's competent to play guitar, and now I think he sells his service and he promotes himself in some way. This is the moral point of view. And then in the moral category, you can do moral judgments, and then calling it fake as a pejorative term is a moral judgment that is valid in the moral category of judgment. Now you can observe the same situation from a more artistical point of view. From the very aesthetic point of view, from the point of view of how it affects the listener. And then you are appreciating here the ideas of the Led Zeppelin, for example. It's a cover. You are appreciating the sound of guitar. So there is a whole art in setting a good guitar tone. And then in this framework, in this perspective, it's absolutely not important if he's overdubbing or not. You get the point? And it is a similar pattern of reasoning. If we are speaking about some performances that are actually impossible, to do that I now I can't find because I don't watch so much these things, but there are some guys who do some impossible things. So let's suppose this is impossible. I don't know, for some reason, let's suppose that this band is impossible to get so on pitch like this. Still, from the artistical point of view, if you consider Kant, what matters is how you are experiencing this. You get the point? And which is the artistic expression here going on, and how what is happening actually. But what is happening in your head when you hear this? So this will be the object of the judgment. Okay. Now in the moral category, you can see things in a very different way. For example, if he's deceptive, make him believe that he has an Ibanez guitar and he doesn't has, then of course he's being deceptive, he's lying. Okay, so then things change. But anyway, today we live in this marketing world, so even if he's faking the guitar with artificial intelligence, like it's not an Ibanez, who cares? You get the point. The important thing is that you understand the difference between the moral category, the artistic category. It's not that art and morals are not related, and this is what Plato tried to show to us. It's not like you are allowed to lie in the lyrics of your music. So there is no noble lie in music. Okay. What happens is that you need to understand in which framework you are judging things, and that you understand which are the philosophical categories taking place in which discussion that you are doing. Okay, which is the type of discussion that you are doing. So
push yourself harder, because there is an argument for that.
Part 4. The noble lie and why it's maybe okay to fake. So there's the story about how young Jeff Beck heard a recording of Les Paul's How High the Moon, and not realizing that Les Paul overdubbed a million guitar parts, Jeff Beck just learned how to play those overdubbed guitar parts on a single guitar, being unaware that a faked performance led him to do something great. This story almost certainly...
So I think the discussion is not so hard. No, so if the guy is the Steve Vai, the Ing Malmsteen, who cares if he's overdubbing? But if you are a not known guitarist and you want to give the impression that you are better than Ing Malmsteen, and your Instagram is exactly set in this sense, and then in real life you can't play better than my mother, then of course you fall into the moral category in a very negative way. But in the same sense, from the aesthetic point of view, it doesn't mean that we weren't able to appreciate the music that you were doing. For example, you might be doing some very interesting arpeggios and things that are musically interesting, and that might inspire people to learn guitar. Okay, so this is a very artistic consideration. It's not bad. So important is to not play with the words, like using the word fake in this sense here and then another sense there, and not knowing where you are going with this, because then you start to use the slogans that are like edgy. Why faking performance is okay? Then you start to go into this area of being like, it's not like what you say is wrong, but when you say for 2 million people, you know that the majority of people will get it in the wrong sense. Okay, because the majority of people, they don't know nothing about music. This is the sad truth. Okay, so even when you see someone playing well like this, there are few other guitarists who are able to learn this type of music in a short amount of time. Okay, so as I know many students, I can tell you that a huge part of people, they suck a lot in music because they don't know how much effort is needed. And this type of people, they are the, I don't know, the 10%. Still a lot of people, principally in guitar. There are many good guitarists. It is a lot of good guitarists, but the amount of guitarists who suck is unbelievable bigger. So that's why it's important for me to do a comment on this point here, that I think it was not so clear with the noble line. Okay, although I understand more or less what he wanted to do. He wanted to say that in some case overdubbing is okay, and in some cases not okay. So the thing is about overdubbing. Okay, so the word fake is very charged, and it is a word that trigger people. It's like a judgment. If someone calls me a fake pianist, I get offended. So I think that's how. So let's see the ending.
Models that I looked up to when I was young, in this case, Ken Griffey Jr. and Cal Ripken, are the ones that give us the values that we will then teach to the next generation. And so to the subject of faking musical performance, I look to who my musical role models are and think about what would they do.
A lot of my heroes played these records where they weren't editing stuff and they were just playing drums and just playing. What you hear is what they in post.
So then that's the question is like, if we are looking at musicians as being role models for us, how do you verify that a musician is a good role model for society, for etc.?
No, in the case of Plato, the answer is through censorship. So you see who is like basically who is becoming a famous poet, you try to see what they're trying to do, limit what they're doing. So it's very, very heavy-handed, one could say.
So my conversation with Dr. Noé ran late into the evening. We talked all about exemplarist ethics and mimesis.
I think this part was not very good cut because there is actually no answer for his question.
Go part way and
let's see
like,
again.
I'll fix it in post.
So then that's the question is like, if we are looking at musicians as being role models for us, how do you verify that a musician is a good role model for society, for etc.?
No, in the case of Plato, the answer is through censorship. So you see who is like basically who is becoming a famous poet, you try to see what they're trying to do, limit what they're doing. So it's very, very heavy-handed, one could say.
I wonder if she really understood what he's asking.
So my conversation with...
So I think she didn't understand what he's asking. If it were my first date, I would ghost her. No. So he asked a very important, good question. So how to identify the musician that is a good role model? So actually, for Plato, the musician that is a role model is a musician that inspires you to the Platonic virtues. So courage, wisdom, okay, and also the musician who triggers and awakens in your admiration. So your taumazo, how is in English? Taumadestai. I don't know the translation from Greek to taumadestai. So No, I don't want to save nothing. I want to show you the word. How so here, okay? You get here the word Tommaso style. So the admiration. So the musician that triggers, that awakens your capability to admire what is worth being admired. So this would be the ideal artist, and the ideal artist will lead you to the truth. Okay, so I think no one of these Instagram guitarists, I think they absolutely, I think they would not so, they are not so important for Plato. Okay, so this is why I think for Plato the lyrics, they are very important, and here we come in a very Hegelian point of view of music. So for Hegel, the music with lyrics is the music of highest value, and the music with voice. And I think for Plato it will be the similar thing. So then here you get a little bit of my unprepared answer to this question here about the role model. So just important footnote, I am not studying philosophy. So if I also did some mistake, please do a video about my video or leave a comment. The idea here was trying to get deeper and bring some details out of this video of the Adam Neely, that it was surprisingly not so bad like the video Mozarteum is racist. Okay, so then good, thanks for the video. And I have a video about role model. Okay, if you want to more about this thing, so I have a video about role model. Where is this? Did I set to unlisted role models? Okay, so this is one of the most important videos that you can watch in my channel. As a beginner, as intermediary, and even as an advanced composer, even for me. So it's a very important video. Thanks for watching. Also remember to hear my music. I have a music channel with my own music here. Okay, so my own music, and a lot of fake orchestra. See, is mock-up a fake orchestra? So the word fake is very bad, you get the point? So, and is mock-up a copy? It is mock-up orchestration an imperfect copy? I want to go in this question later. Also very important question. Okay, so that's all. Also remember that you can book a lesson with me and learn music with me. If you think that I composed something that you can't compose and that you can improve music with me, book a consultation. I don't give the first lesson for free because I take the first lesson, the first consultation very seriously. So this is up to 2 hours. And we do many things, okay, in the first lesson. So I give feedback, I ask about you, I give some career advice in some cases, like deciding if you should go to university, study piano or composition, things like this. They are very singular biographical types of advice. So we can just answer this on YouTube or in a forum without knowing you. So the whole time people are asking, should I do this or what? And man, I can't even know your name. You have an anonym name on Discord or whatever. So how can I even answer the question? I don't even know your music or if you can play piano. So it's hard to tell. And I wonder why other people still answer you, because you can't give some honest, serious advice for some very important questions. These are questions that will change your life, literally. So my decision to leave Brazil and come to Europe changed my life. So it's not just like this. So see you later. Ciao, ciao.